Off the camera.
Good timing, Joe. Holy crap, folks, we are live. Welcome to Iron Rations. I am Erik Tenkar. The man currently without an avatar is none other than Joe the lawyer.
I didn't realize I don't have an avatar. No shit. You know what? I did one of those crap cleaner cookie cleanse things, and it wiped every damn thing out. I'm logging into every site I have again. I'm looking like, what the fuck's the password there? You know, it's all that shit going on.
Oh, you cleared out all your cookies.
Everything.
No
I
cookies for you.
I didn't know I was doing that. God damn it. There we go. Yeah. So anyway, sorry guys, you're not seeing my normal little avatar there. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's almost like get it back in.
I don't even know, because if I turn off my camera, I have no idea how the hell to get back in on that one either. If I stop my camera, I look just like. See, we have two Joes.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? There's a thing where you could click on an avatar there. So let me go find a dirty picture. I mean, a cool, fun looking picture that would help. Show you what's going on there. All right. Oh God, none of the pictures that come up first are showable. Good God, you don't want to see that. No, you don't want to see that either. Oh, here we go.
You might want to see it. It's just that you probably shouldn't see it.
All right, there we are. Do you remember? Do you remember the Birdcage? The movie Robin Williams. All right.
Yes.
All right. Let's see if it pops. There we go.
Oh, jeez.
There we go. Don't tell me why that's not. Don't ask me why that's on my computer, but it was.
Madre de mía, my.
You like that or what?
my poor son. I lindo. I feel like I should be channeling my son's grandmother. Ay, que lindo. I had no stop.
Oh God, I might be stuck with this avatar now. It says I have to log in or sign up to load more avatars. I think I'm stuck with this guy for until I figure out how to change it. Or I have to do a cookie wipe again. Holy shit. Oh crap.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
See, folks, you never know what you are going to get when you log into one of our live streams. And by the way, so Joe and I were before we had these technical issues, we were working on other technical issues, and I killed my air conditioner, and I'm putting it back on because even though it's only 75 degrees outside, it is muggy today.
Yeah, if you got no airflow, it's a shit day, man. That's really it.
Yeah, so I gotta put the AC back on. Forgive me for the background noise. We were troubleshooting some potential background noise before, and that's why I had it off. Also, she would have been like, "Oh, it's just Tenkar and his normal background noise."
There you go.
There you go.
That's a better avatar.
so aliens created D&D.
Absolutely.
Is what you're telling me.
Aliens are behind D&D and 5th and 6th, everything. Yeah. Yep. Aliens wiped out Greyhawk. That's why we don't see it. Fizbin is an alien.
Okay, so From the Ashes was aliens, and The Time of Troubles in the Forgotten Realms was aliens.
Absolutely aliens.
So, I'm going to just throw this out there. We actually have a theoretical topic for this show, and we are going to be talking about something that somebody mentioned to me last night when I was doing the weekly Discord hangout, where we just hang out and it's a voice chat. But somebody was PMing me that wasn't in the voice chat, and they were asking me about Canon in D&D, because I had read the article. I think I read it on comic book news or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And apparently, the deal is that Wizards of the Coast has made a statement that fiction, comic books.
Yeah. It basically says, for many years, we in the Dungeons & Dragons RPG studio have considered things like D&D novels, D&D video games, D&D comic books as wonderful expressions of D&D storytelling and D&D lore. A lot of D&Ds in there. But they are not canonical for the D&D role-playing game, Crawford said, Jeremy Crawford. Part of that is we don't want DMs to feel that in order to run the game, they need to read a certain set of novels. We want you to read them for the joy of reading them, but not as homework. And then he elaborated talking about Dragonlance and how he read it and they were part of it and all that kind of shit, right?
All right, but the time out. Listen, Dragonlance, the adventures for Dragonlance. If you were playing Dragonlance, remember, the adventures came out before the setting did. Mm-hmm. You had to play D11 1 through 15. It was a railroad with 2 hooks in your fucking nose, dragging you through. And if you didn't read the books, you had no idea what was going on. Yeah. So I don't understand why he would use Dragonlance as an example, unless, and I'm not going to claim that I thought this myself, unless Dragonlance might be a setting that will soon be rebooted.
That's what I was thinking.
I've got Dragonlance on my brain right now, and let's talk about Dragonlance. Because if you're talking canonical, I think that's the right phrase.
Yeah, I think so.
Canonical history across editions, you're talking Forgotten Realms. Mm-hmm. Okay? Forgotten Realms.
Some Greyhawk. There's some Gygax novels.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You won't ever hear those from them,
No, but even that, there were so many Forgotten Realms releases.
Hundreds of books.
Hundreds of books, comic books, and from what I'm gathering from this article, it even seems to say anything prior to 5e isn't canon.
Basically, 2014 is what he put it in there. Now, and he goes into a little bit more with Dragonlance. Dragonlance has always been a wonderful D&D war story where every DM gets to play through our own version of that war story. I've never looked at D&D as it is a war story. It's never been the focus. It was about the characters and the adventures there. And then the novels are one way where that story plays out. That's how we view all D&D novels. Basically, he says, then he goes in again, mentions Dragonlance later, man. He says, when it comes to RPGs, what's important is each DM's story and the story they create with their players. It's about the only truthful, good fucking thing he said in the article, right? For the moment you are at the game table, it's no longer our Dragonlance or our Forgotten Realms. It's your Forgotten Realms. It's your Dragonlance. That's what Gygax said, too. You're now telling your stories in those settings. You're not bound to the stories in novels as wonderful as they are, blah, 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 blah. And he comes out and then finally says, basically, our stance is that if it has not appeared in a book since 2014, the year that 5e came out, we don't consider it canonical for our games. So I think there's a couple of good things going on. One, I believe, you're right. I think you're setting up Dragonlance. A lot of fucking Dragonlance talk in there.
Yes.
A lot of fucking Dragonlance talk in there, all over the place.
Doom Bunny, no offense, but Wizards of the Coast doesn't have anyone in their creative bullpen that can even hold Margaret Weiss's jockstrap. I'm sure absolutely. Margaret is. I'm not even going to say I'd like to see Margaret wearing a jockstrap. I'm just going to say it's an interesting concept.
And that feeds into the other thing. The other reason I think they're doing this, right, is because, not the jockstrap part, but they don't have anybody left at Wizards of the Coast who know the canon of the last 40 years on some of this shit, the last 30 years, depending on the setting. There's nobody left. And so you're hiring these purple-haired Portland people going in there to 24 years old, and all they know is what they learned last year before they graduated college. Right? And they're going to come in here and they think they're going to write some shit about Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk or Dragonlance and all this stuff. And it's like, and I think what they're going to do is what they've been doing in every goddamn reboot of every goddamn movie ever in the last 10 years. Is they're just going to say, it doesn't matter. Star Trek lore doesn't matter. Star Wars lore doesn't matter. Fucking He-Man lore doesn't matter. Snake Eyes lore, G.I. Joe lore doesn't matter. We're going to write our own story.
Well, it's always a reboot now, right?
No creativity.
Because if you continue from the old lore, you have to respect the old lore.
Yes.
But if you don't respect the old lore, you can then reuse the old lore and claim that it is new.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look. Well, shit. We've used Elminster in 147 different printed fiction books. But you know what? I think that Elminster is actually asexual, and that's how the new Elminster is going to be seen. Depending on who he's talking to, he could be Elminster or Elminstress.
That's good, Elminstress. That's good. Oh God, Race of the Forgotten Realms. Funny. Funny you say that. He appeared in my Forgotten Realms campaign just to fuck with him. But yeah, yeah, Raceland and Forgotten Realms. Yeah, it's true. And the other thing too, if there's no canon, you don't have any obligation to learn your shit. Same thing with comic books. You're just people who never read comic books are writing comic books, and it's like, what do you know about Captain America? Not jack shit. Well, you're the perfect person to write about Captain America. Then step right up. Do you have an agenda you want to push? Yes, I do. Well, then step right up again. Here, you're front of the line.
and again, that is, I think, part of the... listen, I don't think you need to be necessarily a slave to the canon, but I think that you should respect the canon. Yes. I mean, for the longest time, West End Games' D6 resources for their Star Wars game was considered canon by Lucasfilm. Yeah. Everything went through Lucas, and if it got published, that was canon. Mm-hmm. And the fiction was canon. And then Disney got it, and Disney's like, no, because that would require us to, stay true to the source material. Yeah. And we want to do new source material with characters that nobody gives a shit about. Can we do that? Sure.
Yeah. Here's where this guy Crawford is disingenuous, because he starts off talking shit about, well, we don't want to burden our new DMs with 30 years of novels of Forgotten Realms. All right, you know what, motherfucker, you don't have to, because every time you put out a new Forgotten Realms book, you're always doing a summary. You're always putting something in the beginning, and all you need to know is 10 or 15 characters and a little summary of them, right? So if you put out the book, you could do the quick summary. You don't need to burden the players. In fact, here's a novel idea. If you could put like little citations as to the sources of various stories and a footnote or something like that, you might be able to sell some of these old books again if you republish them. So that's a golden opportunity for more sales of older shit, right? Now here's where he's disingenuous though, is because he says, well, we don't want to burden people, but everything that we put out for 5e, that is actually the canon, and that's what we go by. And so he's sort of implying that you kind of need to know what they did put out recently for 5e, right? But then he goes into the whole thing about, well, players, they're going to make it their own anyway. And so what the fuck do you care if there's 300 novels out there and old editions, Forgotten Realms for every edition, and multiple supplements and all that shit? They can make it their own anyway. So canon only, it doesn't apply to players or DMs at all. Canon only applies to the internal businesses, things that they draw upon when they're writing something new. Canon has zero application to players or DMs, because, as he said, it's your own goddamn table. Do whatever you want with it. Anything is canon, anything is not canon. So you're lying. You're full of shit, buddy. All it comes down to is internally what you're going to use. He's setting it up to defend himself against future criticisms that, wait, Raceland is a three-headed troll in this now? What happened? How did and he's lawful good?
I'm about to say, yeah. What? He's multi-classed as a paladin? How the hell did that happen? Oh, well, you didn't read the trial of the twins or whatever the fuck. That shit never happened. Yeah. All right? You just wiped it out of your memory, because we need to reimagine these characters for the modern era. I mean, listen, it's one thing when you reimagine the canon because you're changing the media, all right? You're taking characters from the comic books, you're putting them into, I don't know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Things that work in comic books don't necessarily work on screen. Yeah. Yes, you can move it. And same thing goes for fiction and RPGs. That's fine. But to claim that things like, the Forgotten Realms Atlas that was published under 3.5?
Karen Lynn Winstead?
Yeah.
That thing was fantastic. And I think she did it all by hand. It was Fonstead. I think it was Karen Lynn Fonstead or Fonstead. My God, that was brilliant. And it was so well done. It was so incredibly well done. And so she put out a Middle-earth one, too. I mean, just by hand drawing it. Old school. Fucking great shit. Yeah. But there's stuff in there that probably, that doesn't exist anymore. So your book is useless. Well, my book is as useful as I fucking want it to be. Because it's like you said, it's my game, bitch. I do what I want.
and not for nothing, canon has always been an issue in game groups. And I think you've done this, and I know I've done this. If you run a game in an established setting that first like Forgotten Realms, where at one point everybody was like, I got to read the next 17 books in the Drizzt series. It's like, oh, well, you didn't know that Waterdeep has an undermare in the subterranean that actually handles this? What the fuck are you talking? When your players know more than you, yes, you have to start saying things like, listen, your character would not have that knowledge, and you don't know it, so therefore it isn't. And you have to do that. Doesn't. You're gonna have to do that anyway with this bullshit, because he's saying, all right, well, you don't have to read the Forgotten Realms going back to 1985 or whatever, but you still got to go back to 2014, and anything that's 5th edition is valid. But if you haven't seen it in 5th edition yet, we can still change it. So, and again, out of laziness. That's really what it comes down to.
I think it's laziness. They don't want to have their people read, research, and understand it, because as soon as you do that, you start getting into issues of, well, this is obviously a racist, sexist, whatever the fuck publication or whatever. It's just, you don't want to. Here's my first lines in my house rules. We are playing in a Forgotten Realms. Throw out everything you think you know about it from books, playing with other campaigns, computer games, novels, etc. Basically, make believe I've made up my own homebrew world from scratch with a map and place themes that are remarkably similar to the Forgotten Realms. Most times I might keep it as it is. Lots of times I won't. You will never know until you ask. Separate player knowledge from character knowledge, and I leave it at that. So because don't try to. Oh, that doesn't happen, because shut up. I'm the DM. Shut up. And aliens did it anyway, asshole.
Right. So that's what your point is spot on. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think of it from the point of view of Wizards of the Coast being a bunch of lazy fucks, and saying, how do we get out of having to research material that we are responsible for? Because that's what it is, right? I mean, the Forgotten Realms is loved and adored by fans for the last 40 years because of the depth of the Forgotten Realms. It's because of all the established fiction. And sure, some of that fiction kind of contradicted other fiction. But you know what? When that happened, it was always, for me, as a reader, I was always like, well, I'm reading fiction that might be colored by the perspective of the characters that I'm reading about, right? So I can take things that don't quite fit. But when you tell me that the established lore, which is what this is, it's not just canon, it's lore, the established lore that your players, your fiction aficionados have been following, has just been invalidated, or at least no longer is valid unless we decide it is valid on a piece-by-piece method, but only if we reintroduce it. Now, in which case it will be retroactively valid, but nothing else that's connected to it will be valid unless we bring that stuff in, if you can follow along. Because it really is,
Yeah, I know. It's this reminds me of the whole, it's not D&D, but it's related because of, what's going on. This is the Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm, who runs Lucasfilm, interview. Yes. And this is a quote from her in an interview that she did. And what she said, they're talking about Jurassic World director Colin Trevorrow was slated to write and direct episode 9 before you brought J.J. Abrams back in. Is this final entry in the trilogy a particularly hard nut to crack? Talk about a setup for an answer to give, Anyway, here's our answer. Every one of these movies is a particularly hard nut to crack. There is no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than the passionate storytellers who get together and talk about what the next iteration might be. What the fuck are you talking about? There's been more Star Wars books than almost any other fucking series in history of mankind. There's been comic books. There's been books. What are you, nuts? No 800-page novels, no, but there's like 4 200-page novels. Actually, there might be 4,000 200-page novels. Are you crazy?
But the thing is, again, they don't want to be beholden to that. They want the past that and listen, we could take this on many different levels.
Yeah.
But he who wins the war writes the history.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, and you're looking at that happening across media right now. It's all right. So we don't need to everybody. I grew up on Star Wars. I thought, for me, the original trilogy, which is 4, 5, and 6, were the high point of science fiction for decades.
Science fiction, the movies, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it opened the door for everything. It opened the door. Without that, you didn't have Alien. You know what I mean? There's so much to happen because of that, man. There was so much. The early 1980s had so many movies because Star Wars opened the door and said, "Hey, this is profitable. This isn't just a stupid space opera, for a kid." You know?
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So now they're kind of saying like, we don't. Yeah, we're doing the ninth movie, right? Of the third, the third movie of a third trilogy. But we're telling you right now that the prior trilogies don't even matter. That they're not even canon.
Yeah,
is what she's basically saying. We don't have anything to work. Yes, you do. You have all this stuff to work off of, and admittedly, right? I mean, the fiction and the gaming fiction for Star Wars became Star Wars canon. This is stuff that when they put out movies 1, 2, and 3, they referred to and they had to keep true to. They didn't dump all that as canon until Disney came in, the corporate overlords, and said, this is going to constrain us too much. We can't tell the stories that we want to tell if we have to be linked to the canon, which is sad. And I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that's part of the reason why something like The Mandalorian has been enjoyed as much as it was, because it gives these little Easter egg snapshots that go back to the canon. And that's what fans want. They don't want your new interpretations of the shit. They want what they grew up on, and they want to share what they grew up on with their kids, with their grandkids. And when they can't recognize it anymore, because you've rebooted the canon, what this comes out to, you've thrown away all the lore and said, well, we're going to make up some new lore now.
Yeah. You can do that if you're going to, for writing a movie, like you're saying, there's a script, a screenplay for something. But the only reason for him to say it is to an admission of laziness. And I think it really comes down to disrespect, because that's what Matt is saying about Melman. If 95% of it's shit, then who cares? It's not a matter of who caring. It could be shit, but it's respecting your audience. It's respecting what happened in the past. It's respecting what people love. It's not making Guinevere into a dog and Drizzt into, a frost giant maiden. You know what I mean? It's like...
it's D&D. It could happen, but...
Yeah, a little wand of whatever the fuck happens.
DM Kurt had a good point, by the way. Saying the TSR lore isn't valid until it has been rewritten and Wizards of the Coast has gotten their buck off it and is in a twisted up re-release is disingenuous.
Yeah.
And you know what? In a way, you are correct. It's almost like Wizards of the Coast saying, you know what, the old stuff, it isn't worth anything. Ignore it. Enjoy it for what it is. But don't think you're going to understand the Forgotten Realms by going back and reading the Crystal Shard. Yeah. Because we're going to be coming out with new Drizzt books. Yeah. And it's going to have nothing to do with the old. I mean, we'll do lip service to the old, but don't think that you can go back and understand stuff that's going on now by going, no, that ain't happening. That ain't happening.
Yep. Greyhawk Ragnar did a show on this. I was listening on the way home from work today. And his was interesting because he's like, all right, so that's because I've got, where he's coming from on the Greyhawk front. They haven't put out shit in terms of an official Greyhawk anything, but they're stealing little things from Greyhawk, here and there, like Mordenkainen's Tomophoes and this and that. Right. And the listings for gods. And he's like, basically, okay, if what they're saying is everything since 2014, he pulls out everything they've put out on Greyhawk since 2014. It's like, there's hardly anything there. Like in my interpretation, you can write it down on an index card. There's like nothing there really that they put out related to Greyhawk. So essentially, that means there's no Greyhawk lore and there's no Dragonlance lore. And now we got this, new dragon book. That's the other coincidental thing. It goes back to the Dragonlance thing. Fizbin's book or whatever the fuck is coming out now, right?
Right.
So that's the new latest greatest. That's when is it coming? Fizbin's Treasury of Dragons, October 2021. So Fizbin, as you all know, or maybe you don't, the god Paladine in basically the Dragonlance novels. It was the human avatar of Paladine, which is the foe of Tiamat, which is so that's what we're dealing with here. Now, Fizban, people are going to be, who's Fizban? Right? The naturalist thing, for people who are new, who haven't seen Dragonlance, the new, purple-haired Portland people are going to say, Fizban, what the hell is a Fizban? They're going to Google who the fuck is Fizban. And
what's a Fizban, damn it?
Yeah, it sounds like a funny drink at a stupid bar. Right? So they're going to Google Fizban, they're going to pull up Fizban, they're going to read all about Fizban, and what are they going to get? Interested in Dragonlance. The Fizban book is a teaser for the Dragonlance thing that's coming, I think. Right?
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah, it's got because why else name fucking Fizban? Why else? You could have had anything else on there, anything else you wanted to. You had to throw Fizban out, right? And so you're getting people's interest in all things Dragonlance. He mentioned Dragonlance in that interview as much as he mentioned D&D, for God's sakes. So, that's plus, like you said before, the Weiss and Hickman lawsuit is settled for the most part, right?
Oh,
so
that's done, yeah.
Yeah, they're ready to go on it. They got their marching orders. Here's a little extra money, and you have to write what we tell you, and here's what you have to have in there. Like, all right, pay me, bitch, whatever. So.
Here, I'm going to make a little inference on that lawsuit. Just an idea on what happened with that. I think what happened is that low-level flunkies at Wizards of the Coast were told that, hey, listen, if you can figure out a way to get us out of this contract with Weiss and Hickman, because we want to do something with Dragonlance, if you can get us out of this contract, that'd be great, because then we can... So they went and they did it in the most ham-fisted, stupid motherfucker, bureaucratic way possible.
Yep.
And...
Decision by committee, kind of. You get right off. You can just see it. It's a decision by committee.
And then the higher ups like, whoa. We didn't want you to do it in a way that makes us look like shit.
Yeah.
Which is what was happening, right?
Yeah.
So now it became all right. How do we make this go away? Well, you got to give us back the rights to publish this work. And I'm going to make you a bet. The right was all right. Well, you can finish your books. We though can draw our gaming line that we're going to do the new Dragonlance setting, so we need access to your work because you're writing it, so we can write material for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
that's going to reflect it, and it's going to be great for both sides, right?
Yeah.
It'd be great for you.
To write more
and by the way, you got to be just a little bit more woke. In your Dragonlance. All right, just do a little lip service, which is what it's going to be, by the way. It's going to be lip service. It's not going to be because you're dealing with the Mormon there.
I was about to say that. I held back because I'm like, I don't want to bring that up, but boom, you just said it. yeah, exactly. Because there's certain beliefs that you're walking into that some people's beliefs are more or less amenable to the woke thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
So from what little I know, not this paint a broad brush against all, but that's going to be a hard sell. So they're not going to buy in. It'll be lip service. Definitely be lip service. But so Dragonlance is going to come out now. I think that's pretty much a done deal. I think the Dragonlance novels, if they could write them in such a way, there's Drizzt and all that has a long history, Forgotten Realms, yada yada. But there is a lot of shit that's coming out now that that's wrong though, because racism and black and evil and this and that. So even the guy who wrote it, what the fuck, Salvatore, he came out with a statement today saying,
I wish I had it up in front of me. It was painful.
It was bad. It was bad. You want to look it up there?
Oh, God. All right. Yeah. All right. I'll look it up. You keep on talking.
Yeah. I'm just looking at our thoughts on Dark Sun. One of my favorite settings due to the desperate nature of life on Athos. I'm most afraid of what an updated version would look like. No, an updated version of Dark Sun. Dark Sun is Mad Max, essentially, with psionics, right? So, if you're looking at Mad Max plus some psionics and shit, then that kind of thing won't fly today. An updated version of that would be a disaster. There's no way. But Kryn has a lot of, you can do a lot with it. It's a blank, empty slate. There was those 14 modules. There was a few books, like the the Fonstad book. There was the Tales from the End of the Lost, whatever the hell. There was a few things, and then of course the novelizations. But most people only look at the novelizations in terms of what Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman actually wrote, right? So everything else, even you got head canon, you got real canon. I think most people consider everything that the official authors didn't write as just maybe,
right?
You know, but if it doesn't have Karen or Raceland in it, it don't matter. If they didn't write it, it don't matter, right? So just the bottom line is there's a lot to go on, and so they may want to be distancing themselves from certain problematic aspects of the Forgotten Realms, which you just pulled up right there.
Yeah. So here we go. Now, by the way, this is from Polygon. So I have a nice little history with Polygon, but hey, you know, D&D Drizzt books were built on racist tropes. R.A. Salvatore wants to change that. Now, let's start out with this simple statement. R.A. Salvatore, or Salvatore, however the fuck he wrote the fucking book. So he's saying that he wrote racist tropes into it, like knowingly did this. Because if he's saying that, that isn't saying, well, I was ignorant. That's saying, hey, I was being a racist.
No.
Now, if the drow or I don't know, is it drow or dro?
I think it's drow, but I've always said dro, so I'm not going to change because dro is my canon.
Okay. if the Drow are being portrayed as evil, that's a trope that has to go away. Okay. Again, as a teenager, or playing G1 to 3, D1 to 3, Q1. This is really where you got to see the Dark Elves. I never saw them as black people.
No,
I saw them as
elves.
They were dark elves. They were evil elves. There was a matriarchal society.
Yeah.
Where the men were treated like shit.
Yeah.
The women had all the power. That's what stuck out to me.
Yes.
I used to say to myself, look at the Drow. Well, look at the Drow, right? Look at these elves, and then look at the regular PC races. Mm-hmm. Look at humans, elves, dwarves. A human female can have 1850 strength maximum, right? She was limited, and it wasn't like they were saying, "Oh, but you give them a +1 dex to balance it out." No, it was, it's a 1 or a +1 to their wisdom. There was no bonus to balance out the penalties that were built in for having a female character in AD&D.
Yeah.
And then you have this when you had the G series and the D series, and we got introduced to Drow. I was like, holy shit! Gary flipped the script, and now here is a fantasy race where women don't just rule, but are the most powerful classes and characters.
Yep.
And the men are pawns. They are fucking pawns.
Yeah.
And
I thought that was crazy. It was wild. It was cool. It was just like, holy shit. Holy shit, this is different. This is damn different. And I like I said, I never thought about the color of their skin at all. Never fucking mattered.
Yeah. No, and you were looking at black and white art anyway. So it had nothing. One had nothing to do with the other.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, for R.A. Salvatore, who made his name on writing these books, and now he's like, well, and if I was him, I'd say, you know what? Honestly, I never saw it that way. I could maybe see how some people could see it that way, and I apologize to those that could be offended by that. But I never intended that. He's not saying that here.
Yeah.
If they are being portrayed as evil, that's a trope that has to go away. Because why? You're saying that these were black people? Again, I never saw that as a kid. I never saw that as an adult. Yeah. There's just so much reading into things that was never there. Mm-hmm. Now, Jared253 has a comment, tangential in a way. What are our thoughts on Dark Sun? It's becoming one of my favorite settings due to the desperate nature of life on Athos.
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid of what an updated version would look like. Am I wrong? You are totally correct. Because what can't you do? You can't have slaves anymore, right? Mm. You can't portray... Athos is a world where the PCs might be good-ish, good-leaning, but likely they're fighting for their survival.
Yeah.
All right? And the world is an evil fucking world.
Yeah.
And there are, hey, are we going to say that, dragons are portrayed as evil, and that's offensive to, I don't know.
Lizards,
Asians. Dragons are a stand-in for Asians because Asians have Chinese dragons. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to stretch too far because they're stretching it themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
dude. Let me show you a screen here, just because I was trying to think of something. I pulled it up.
Yep.
You can do this, right? I share the screen. Right.
Yeah.
What am I trying to share? Where's the option to share it as I get to choose? All right, look at that. That is a powerful fucking image right there, man.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the Queen of Spiders cover. You got 3 women on the throne, and they're looking like they're vying for power. And totally in that I run this shit. I'm such a badass that the Mind Flayer serves me fucking wine, and I got the 2 fire giants behind me. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm in charge, bitch. That was powerful to me. I never once looked at the skin color. I'm like, this is badass.
No.
Fucking hot, by the way. Fucking hot.
Yes.
It's goddamn sexy. So yeah, it's just, it's crazy. You're not going to get a Dark Sun. You're not going to, I think Salvatore knows that the writing's on the wall. He's like, his time is limited, right? So he's just trying to say whatever the fuck he can to stay in the game. He sees the White Sickman train about to take off. He's like, give me a caboose here. I can write still.
Yeah, I can do more to it. I can I can make him. I can rebuild him. I can make him the $6
better,
million
stronger, faster.
Yes, $6 million
to the same place. Oh god. Yeah, this is a good point that Shepard had there, David Shepard. You could run a decent D&D game with the SRD, the Forgotten Realms Wiki, the Dragonlance Wiki, or the Great Lobby of Greyhawk. I agree. That's all you need. How many times I look up things? I got 1 million Forgotten Realms books here for all editions, especially going back to the original first and second, right? All these resources, and of course you have access to the wiki and everything online, and I have all the PDFs online. So what am I going to do? I'm always going to go to the wiki because it's a quick and dirty search. What is that town? Where is that listed again? Let me look at the map on the wiki. Boom, boom. You're there. You're there. That's all you'll need. Doom Bunny. Dark Sun will have proms. That's based on the latest. Did you hear about that shit they're coming out with? This book. This book they're gonna have now. It's Strixhaven. It's like this. It's like a magic school. And
what?
The Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos, and it's like a magic school, and for like a college or something. And it's gonna be like a
Harry Potter,
a teen drama. It's like a teen.
It's gonna be Harry Potter,
but older. It's more like the late teens in college, right? So you're gonna have prom shit related to this thing. There's gonna be prom drama. Oh no, Billy's going with Susie, and then Susie now has to go with Sarah. And it's like, what the fuck? Who cares? That's not D&D. What are you killing shit and taking her stuff?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, not for nothing. If I was a kid, I wouldn't want to be having to role play the drama that I was going through in real life.
That's the thing. Holy shit, is your life that empty? Maybe because they can't, go through the same level of drama when they text, because that's the only aspect of communication kids today have is fucking texting. And so they see these teen shows that they'd never take part of anything like this in their entire lives, because you can't text such drama, right? And so they want to partake of it in some in-person way, so they're going to insert it into D&D. That's it, right? Come on, what the fuck, man? I'm just not impressed. And this is one thing we were touching on before we came on here. I'm pretty sure your opinion was that no 6E coming up anytime soon. I was just reading an article by Trollsmith, real old school guy. You guys, if you want to go to his blog, it's the Trollsmith blog, and he's been blogging before us, I think, that guy. But good guy, old school guy, and he's talking about. It's really too early to be talking about this. Borrowing a precipitous drop in sales, 6E is probably at least 2 years away, at least. And the cultural landscape of D&D will likely change around that. That's a nice way to say it. But he's talking about the things that will change, and they're going to get rid of race and replace it with something like ancestry. They're going to GURPify it, make it basically extend classes, and everybody could have it. So he's thinking that Mike Merle's simplification mantra is out, and so he's thinking they're going to make it more complex and more robust and a lot more options for people, and make it on more of a digital approach, and the critical rolification of it. He's basically getting into, and so and more splat books. That's his stake.
Well, here's my. We are going to see a soft 6E. All right. When I say a soft 6E, you're not going to change the rules. However, we are going to get new new core books. Mm-hmm. Those core books have been out now for almost a decade.
What do you think? 5E revised? Or you think they're going to put some shit that actually worked and put it into the core books?
I think what they're going to do is they're going to make some of those superficial changes, changes to the fluff, and changes that they've already experimented with in Tashes and other places. Yeah. They're going to put them into the new revised D&D core books, but they're going to be fully compatible with all the current material. Because they have learned. Look what Paizo did. Paizo took Pathfinder out to the woodshed and shot it in the head because we've got a better child. Paizo 2, Pathfinder 2. And then Pathfinder 2 came out and it was like...
shit the bed.
it shit the bed, it was like, virtually stillborn. And then like, we shouldn't have done that. If you think Wizards of the Coast hasn't been watching carefully, they've been watching very carefully. They are number one. When you're number one, and they're growing, they're number one, and they're probably growing their share every quarter.
Yeah.
Why would you fuck with that?
Yeah.
Now, but now if you can do something to put a nail into your biggest competitor's coffin, because now people will be like, "Oh no, I'm going to get dislikes for this one." I think that unless Paizo changes, they're experimenting with it. You can do Savage Worlds, Pathfinder, right? But Paizo is sitting on a gold mine if they would only convert their adventure paths to 5e.
Absolutely.
Right? They're sitting on a gold mine.
Untapped market. Most of the 5e players don't know what the fuck Paizo or Pathfinder is, or any of those adventures. I mean, and because they're fucking lazy, right? Because we established that already. They don't want to go back and read all the lore. And, they're lazy, whatever. They're young. They don't have time, right? They're going out there having a party and they want to play. But if you can give them a pre-packaged 6-adventure railroad, what the hell do they know? They don't know that it's a railroad. They don't know railroads are bad. They're just playing D&D. Right, and so they're going to get into this. They're going to jump in, and they're going to say, "Wow, this is cool. Everything is all done for me." So this is what you're looking at. David Shepard says Strixhaven is Magic the Gathering card set turned into a D&D book. Is it? Was it a set? I don't know. I never played Magic the Gathering. I don't know.
I know they've been pulling over a lot of the Magic Gathering stuff. So.
Oh yeah. But that's some of their other books they came out with. I'm looking at where the hell was that? The Magic the Gathering one. There was a Theros. Was that? No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, they did a setting one, right?
Was it Wildemont? Yeah, the Explorer's Guide to Wildemont. I think that was the Magic the Gathering one, right? But
I don't pay attention to that shit. By the way, Michael has made 2 comments. One, he's never seen me so fired up, and he likes it. Oh, don't listen. Don't go to El Lancy now on me, all right? And is Tolkien a racist because orcs were dark-skinned? Tolkien is a racist because of the era in which he wrote. You can assume any author who wrote anything before, 1998 is a racist. All right? I'm just going to throw that out there. Once we start getting hints of wokeism, God, I hate for saying that word because I'm going to flag myself for it. But
is that something to get you busted?
No, I'm flagging myself because I hate using the word.
I know they censor some shit on YouTube, so I don't know.
I don't give a. It's not like we're monetized, but
we might be by the end of the night if we do well, man. You're close.
No, not that close.
You got
like
926, 926. Yeah.
But anybody who wrote prior to the New Awakening can be assumed to be racist. Listen, I have people. There are people on Gen Con's official YouTube channel. I guess I never sent you these links, Joe. I'm sorry. Well, you're probably better off not having watched it.
Yeah.
So they were covering the fiasco with TSR. These 3 women whose knowledge of gaming appears to be fairly superficial, and their knowledge of of what was going on with TSR was Ernie and Luke did not have the same mother.
Oh, God.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. And there's been family problems between the siblings for many a year. And Gary Gygax, godfather of Dungeons and Dragons, is a very disruptive, distracting, evil individual because of his personal beliefs. But he gave us D&D. Huh. And okay, so and then they go on by saying how Ernie founded the new TSR. They literally one quick listen. A 5-second wiki search could have shown them that Luke and Ernie have the same mother, and that none of the siblings have strife. The strife is through the initial siblings from Mary Jo and with Gail. Mm. But that's and the recent stuff's all been over the will. But I mean, they did this multiple weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And here's what I find interesting: they set up like, we don't speak for Gen Con. It's Gen Con's official channel. They do a weekly show. They don't speak for Gen Con. They have 3.6 thousand subscribers on this channel, and they get half the views that we do.
That's because we're cool and goddamn sexy. We're sexy too. I mean, you guys didn't see ours stood up before. He's got the sexy boxers going today. So
hey, it's like working. It's like those commercials you see because now you can work at home.
Yeah.
Nobody sees me, but the shirt I'm wearing is cut off right above my belly button. so my beer gut can come out and get cool.
There you go. At least the boobs are in there, man. We don't want to see man boobs.
Oh no, we don't.
Oh God, here's Frederick Rourke. Don't judge Tolkien till you watch the Soviet version of Lord of the Rings. Oh my God, somebody showed me that about a month ago. You ever see that shit show?
You know what? I saw the beginning. I couldn't sit through it.
No, me either.
I forget why.
No.
But I saw I saw the very, very beginning of it, and I was like, what the
Yeah.
You know, it was something I would have expected done in, like, I don't know, New York City's Village back in the 60s. It's like, we're going to turn Tolkien into beatnik poetry in a dark room. Come on.
Jesus Christ, it would come out of Andy Warhol's studio there, I think.
Yeah, you know, it was like... Wildemount is Critical Role. Ravnica is Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to say this again. I'm sure I said this before. 5e is the rising tide that lifts all ships.
Mm-hmm.
I would gladly play in 5e as a player because I need to know exactly this much. I refuse to ever run it as a DM because then I need to know this much, and I don't have any intention of learning this much of any game system in my life again.
I think what they could do well is come out with a 5e revised, actually, because I think this would serve them well. And I know you got some dirt you may or may not want to share later, but I think what would work is you got the player's handbook, and then you've had all these other modules or adventures they call them now, right? Come up with various things, both new monsters that would go into the monster manual. You've come out with things in the salt marsh thing, like naval battles and ships and all that stuff that would easily be inserted into a DM guide. And you always come out with some more spells, more character options, backgrounds, classes, things like that, right? And so each new thing they put out has a few more things. Some of them are good, some of them suck, right? And I freely admit some of them, most of it, for me, for my purposes, sucks, but I could recognize that it's good quality stuff, right? And so if they were to take the best of all that stuff, you could double the size of the player's handbook, double the size of the monster manual, double the size of the DM guide, just by adding tables to the DM guide, new monsters thematic from all the shit that's come out, and spells and options for characters in the player's handbook. Then you got a 5e revised 3-book box set, right? That you can knock out for $250 for collectors. And because the new player is not going to want to be using that, the new player will still buy the thinner book because the big double-sized player's handbook is fucking daunting, right? But the hardcore guys are going to easily shell out $250 for the 3-book box set, leather bound, whatever the hell, and they're going to make their money on the PDFs. right?
But with 4E, didn't they put out like Dungeon Master's Guide 2?
Yes,
Dungeon Master's Guide 3.
That's
Monster Manual 17A.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
But if they put it all in one book, I think it would sell better.
I don't know. I think because bigger is not always better, depending on you and I grew up on bigger. I was like, oh my god, the Dungeon Master's Guide is huge.
Big, yes, huge.
But I think the current generation is like, oh my god, I don't need to know that much shit, do I? Yeah. I think that you would do better giving it to them as pieces, piecemeal. Yeah. But hell, what do I know? I am not a major publisher, and I never shall be.
I was just thinking in terms of laziness. It's already there. You copy and paste it into a new book. You know what I mean? It's an easy. Here you go. Clownfish blew the TSR thing. I tell you, that fucking guy in Clownfish. They usually write on a lot of stuff related to Disney and Marvel. And do you listen to them, Eric? Clownfish TV?
I listened to the TSR stuff, and it made it.
Yeah.
I listen when I want to punch my screen, and it's an iMac, so I really shouldn't punch it. It's not like I can just replace the screen. I have to stop watching. Yeah. When they're telling the same stupid shit about Ernie and Luke being half brothers, I was like,
I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He didn't.
And here's the thing, I'm guessing when they talk about stuff that they actually have an interest in, they aren't just trying to gain an audience and viewers by going, oh, this is relevant. Let's talk about this. Then I'm sure they can actually like be decent. I got a lot of flack for, making fun of Clownfish TV and their inability to fucking do any kind of research when it came to TSR.
None. And here's the thing with TSR is that every once in a while, there's a dude does it, whatever the fuck he goes by, right? Just him. And you could tell it's like the girl, the wife has no interest in any of the shit that he talks about sometimes. Like, you do your own thing on D&D. I never played it. I don't like it. You do your thing. Any D&D related thing, he's running solo. He gets up there and does his shit. He says he spouts off based on some bullshit web articles he might have read. But I think that the woman the wife is the researcher. She actually runs the blog and publishes articles. I think he just likes to talk shit, and she does all the research. I mean, when she gets on there and talks, sometimes she gets on a rant, and her voice hits a certain note, and it makes my eardrums bleed. But other than that, she knows what she's talking about. He when he calls start talking off the cuff, he doesn't know. Just because he played 1985 like the rest of us, he didn't know shit, But yeah, they were dead right on He-Man though. My God, from what I hear, Kevin Smith is full of shit. Fuck you.
Oh my God, I actually followed it. I didn't catch it on them. I quoted on the quartering.
Yeah, and, they called it about a year and a half ago. They called it first. They didn't even put a video out about it. They said, "Hey, we're hearing rumors on they did it on Twitter about it's going to be this, that, and the other thing." And Kevin Smith responded to them on Twitter, basically calling him a piece of shit. You're lying. You don't know what you're talking about. Fuck you, blah, 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 right? Equivalent translation. I don't know what exactly he said, but it was basically that. He made them look like shit. He dragged them through the mud on Twitter, making them look like fools, and they took all kinds of gruff about it for a lot of people from a long time. Turns out they were fucking right. So fuck you, Kevin Smith. I like Clerks because I lived the life of Clerks for a long time working in a convenience store. And so like, oh, man, it's like going to movies. It's like going to work. But, however, fuck you, man. Stop doing weed because, he started doing weed because he thought it enhances certain people's abilities to be creative and this and that. Dude, you were like a one-shot wonder. You got this movie made. You haven't made much that was good ever fucking since then, right? You're a one-hit wonder. You made your movie. You made your money. You got your reputation from Harvey Weinstein, no less, right? And now you haven't been doing shit that was any good lately at all. You've been riding on your own coattails, for fuck's sake. And so now you're taking a job and you're kissing ass, and you started taking this weed and you think it helps you be creative. It ain't. You're just a pothead who's stupid. Right. Based on what you fucking put out lately, you're an idiot. Stop doing weed. Fucking have a slice of pizza. Maybe you lost too much fucking weight. I don't know. But just go back to the fucking way you were.
Compared to the old...
I know you had a heart attack and you had to lose weight. God bless. So glad he's not dead because,
here, I'll throw this one out since you mentioned that. I saw my heart failure specialist on Tuesday. He went over my recent testing. He's like, so I want to go over this with you and explain to you what some of this means. I'm like, okay. Well, this thing means that there's a section of a part of your heart, a sizable section that is dead.
Jesus fucking Christ, really?
I'm like, really? So he goes, yeah. And that's because you had a heart attack. I go, I had a heart attack. Had congestive heart failure. I'm like, And by the way, I now I know when I had the heart attack. By the way, now that I know I had one, I could actually go back and go, hey, the Tuesday before TotalCon, when I broke out into a full body sweat and I had to towel myself off when I went down to my local pub for lunch. I had to go to the bathroom and take out paper towels. That was probably the heart attack. But in any case, but he goes, so now there are other parts of your heart where it refers to whatever the same condition was, but it says minor. He goes, so those are parts of your heart that are not currently active. They're like in stasis.
What are they on vacation? Fucking get their asses in line. What the fuck's going on
basically, he says, with better blood flow, he goes, with diet and exercise, those parts of the heart can come back.
Well, there you go, man.
So he goes,
walking and running, man.
Yeah. So he was like, he goes, all things considered, your heart's actually doing well, but it can do better. I was like, all right, well, that's the knowledge that I needed. Thank you so much.
Yes,
so I just realized, I was like, well, there, if we're going to talk about it, then that comes up.
Yeah.
Wild Die Woodard, shocked Wizards of the Coast hasn't gone with basic and advanced versions of 5e. Well, remember, basic is a free download, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
And you can print it out for yourself if you want to on Lulu, which I did years ago, and then gave it to my son's fiancée because she was playing on Roll20 and didn't have to, just had it in digital format. But here's the thing. Wizards of the Coast does not want to divide their audience and divide the market that they control. So you're not going to see a basic and advanced versions. They're never labeled as such. Yeah. They don't want to do that, and that's why it's not a basic set. It's a starter set.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's or essentials. The whole idea of basic is that you're starting a different essentials. Oh, I get the essentials and then I get the full rules, or these are the starter rules and then I get the full rules. Oh, these are the basic rules, so I can do anything I want with the basic rules. Well, you can. If you download them, you can run a character through most any level, but you're not gonna have all the options. But they don't want to make that part of the market because that will divide their audience and their market.
They know that from the BX and the basic, the BECMI. I mean, the only reason they had that, as we know from lore and history, was because of the lawsuit, right? So it's partisan bullshit. But yeah, I use what I like and I don't care what's official. Amen. Magic the Gathering settings are different. Magic the Gathering card sets turned into fantasy settings. Interesting. I don't know. I don't play Magic the Gathering, so that's new to me, you know.
I have not. I had Magic the Gathering back when they were selling the beta cards.
Wow.
And I made money off my beta cards.
Did you? Good.
Oh God! I think I spent like $120, and I made back about $1,500 before inadvertently putting the deck I had through the wash.
Oh, dude, you could have had the house in the Hamptons by now. Where they had the
I don't know, but you know, it was too good to not sell them. When wow, I've had these for 9 months and already this card is worth, $400 to sell it to a store, which means they were probably selling it back out for $1,000. You know, so I was like, geez, I can't pass up on this.
Blue Hack, what's Blue Hack? You ever use that?
Blue Hack.
There's Black Hack, White Hack. Now we got every
I know Blue Homes. I don't know Blue Hack.
I know Blue Homes is Blue Home. Yeah, that's a good one. Blue Home is a good. It's a clone of the Holmes edition of D&D. You know, it was a decent thing. It's a decent thing. I know Shane Ward writes some stuff for that. So yeah, the Fred Funk Memorial Game is a free download. What the fuck is that? This must be Frederick Rourke is writing, and maybe he's talking about something he wrote. I have no idea what that is, though. But yeah, he also says you're turning into a lich, Eric, so watch out. It might be what's going on. Did you drink the secret potion? Do you have the... if you turn into your lich, your phylactery that holds your soul is going to be a beer stein. So.
it would have to be. It would have to be. And my room is surrounded. Yeah. The Dutch shelf has beer steins all around me.
Yep.
So...
And remember that one you gave me when we met in New York that time? It weighed like 4,000 pounds. Remember that thing?
Yep.
I had it on my shelf. It was good. Then I was packing to move. I moved a couple months ago, and I'm packing this up, and I'm pulling it down, and the thing fell, and I'm sad to say it broke, and it cracked the tile it landed on. That goddamn thing was like, I don't think it was pottery. It was like cement.
That was a Hofbrau mug. If you want another one, you let me know because I do have it. That's one that. Look what my niece got me for my birthday. She got it. I got it early. I got it.
Bobblehead. Nice, man.
Bobblehead. Yeah. She's like, and with her own money. Yes,
Wow.
with her own money. And she also got me a Mandalorian. Whatchamacallit? Neck gaiter.
No, yeah. You have Baby Yoda? You all set with Baby Yoda?
No, I don't have Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Although I do have the Ranger from, the old Baldur's Gate. I have, it's not a bobblehead, but it is one of the Funko ones.
Oh,
so it's the Ranger from Baldur's Gate with Boo, the hamster, on his shoulder.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that, man. That's true. Your birthday is coming up. It's the 30th, right?
Yep, next
30th
Friday.
This month, next Friday. Nice. Were you any plans? You guys do anything? Going anywhere?
Well, my folks are in the Poconos. Actually, my sister and my niece will be in the Poconos for that weekend. So we celebrated 2 weeks early before everybody started going and doing stuff. But Rachel and I think my big celebration is going to be
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah,
we're going to go to Manhattan, hang out. Me, Rach, you, Professor Dungeon Master, possibly your brother.
Yeah,
if he wants to join us.
Oh, is that known? Did you mention that PDM is going to be joining us?
What, to your brother?
No, to everybody. I haven't heard it. You mentioned that it's on?
I don't know. I mean, it's on. I got to reach out to him. It's on. I don't know. We got to figure out what time. And the Captain's Grill is apparently still open. Survived COVID.
Nice.
So we do have a decent place that serves food and booze right across the street from the Complete. So that's going to make for a very... Don't have to walk too...
Yeah.
Who wants to walk around a lot?
It's too hot. It's too fucking hot, and I'm too fucking fat. Fuck walking. Yeah.
Oh, so Joe, I just so you know, this came in, so this is going to be coming to you.
Oh, what is it?
That's the starter pack for Sword and Woodbury.
Okay, all right.
So that's how tall the screen is. Okay. I would use this with running any game right now. It's the perfect height.
Nice.
It really is a perfect height. It's digest size. It fits in the box.
Yeah. The box that explains why the box is so darn oversized. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I gotta bring that. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I hope it doesn't rain. Honestly, I hope it doesn't rain. I'm torn on driving down there or taking the train in. You know, COVID spiking the whole bit. Who the fuck knows, man? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I might drive in. We'll see how it goes. You know, just to sit down a train with a bunch of other people for an hour and a half. It's a whole different story than just visiting a store or going to an open air bar. You know, yeah. BFRPG, yeah. That's a good one too, man. That's a good one.
Yeah,
too.
well, I when I did the hangout with my my old group at the beginning of the month, I handed out Basic Fantasy Roleplay and two of I guess they're one of the setting books and one of the adventure books.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and for $10 a person, here I can hand because I give gifts out every time we get together once a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, listen, if some of them have kids, I go give this to your kids if they're interested. They have everything they need to run.
Yeah.
Or if you want to run it for your kids, you got everything you need to do. Now, we have ShireCon coming up. I have the name and the map for the adventure that I'm going to be running.
All right. What's going on?
It's the White Holes of the Red Satyr.
All right, that's cool.
I actually generated it. I actually generated it on this channel using Matt Finch's Tome of Adventure Design and the one page dungeon generator. So now I just got to. I figure the satyr is going to be half satyr, half demon, or something like that.
All right.
And Joe, you've played twice so far.
I
have. You're second level.
I am. I got not yet. I got to play 3 times to get the second.
No. You played 2 times to get the second.
Oh, I fucking
3 further times to get the third.
I'm just looking over at the shelf to find my folder with all my shit in it. Yeah, I got to get that ready. I got to dig out the guy.
You, Michael Gross the fourth.
Yeah.
We're gonna Rach. I think we're gonna have a couple of players at second level. So I gotta make sure we have something that can challenge the group properly.
Well, don't go too tough now, man. It's old school, but still, I want to whoop some ass.
Hey, whoop some ass, get your ass whooped. Is there really that much of a difference?
No, that's fun. It's all fun. It's all just because you're playing with a dozen people. You ever played with before 10 people, whatever it is, and it's just having a good time. That's what convention play is all about. So you don't look to level survive or anything, but you do the same thing Matt Finch does. You play in certain many games, you level your guy up, you bring him with you the whole bit. It's kind of cool. I like that. I've only played in one of his, but damn it, I want to. I don't think I have my sheet anymore. I think I got a little beer accident with that sheet, so I got to make a new one. Hey, here's an idea. Here's what I was thinking. Now get back to the D&D creation part of it. Because what I'm thinking about lately, because I always, making my own game in my head, my own system, my own place, the whole bit, and so I keep going back and forth on. I've pretty much decided no clerics, no healing, no clerical magic. Priests had enough power all through history without having any fucking magic whatsoever. You don't need to have that to give them power, right? So no clerical magic, only wizard magic and the arcane thing, right, for players to have. However, that's not the only magic system in the world. What I was thinking is that it's the only magic system that the player's characters can use. But certain creatures, giants or dwarves or something, could maybe use rune magic. Dragons have dragon song, which is like an imitation of bard magic. Elves, fairies, fairy creatures, maybe they have the equivalent of druidic magic, right? And so you're taking, some shamans could have some version of a shaman system I created years ago. You're taking all these different magic systems that are completely different systems. It's not like, because it's the same spell, the Fae are casting that mimics the same thing a wizard can do, that the wizard can use the spell if they find it from the Fae. It works differently. They could cancel it. No, they can't cancel it with the spell magic. They can't interact with it. They don't understand how it fucking works because it's a product of their race, their very essence of their being and who and what they are, right? And so what you're looking at here is a magic system that the players only have a small piece of the pie in the overall magic of the world, right? If you look at a pizza, they got one slice, and the Fae have one slice, and the rune magic has a slice, and the dragons have the bard songs, dragon songs as a slice, and all these different pieces. And so the cool thing about that, I think, is it brings back the sense of wonder that you got when reading non-D&D based novels, right? When you read books about magic that weren't based in a D&D system like Dragonlance, or like even really Raymond Feist's books, where if you read something like Fritz Leiber's Lankmar and all the older things, like the DCC's Dying Earth are doing now, but the Dying Earth series had a different style of magic, which Gary stole a lot from Fancy and Magic. But you have the sense of wonder that as a player, you won't know what they can fucking do. Because while it might be similar to Druidic magic or rune magic or other magic systems that you've used in other games or settings before, it's not going to be the same. And as a DM, it gives you the power to sort of not have to have a mechanized spell system so that the players know what they're going to face. Their 5th level character group will make this group 7th level group, so it gives them a little more of a challenge, and there'll be 2 casters, but they're 5th level casters, so they will have only the availability to do these types of spells. No, it means the DM can, on the fly, based on a mental determination of how relatively powerful they want that caster to be, you can make up shit as you go along, because magic. The Fae casts the equivalent of grasping tree branches on you and they start pulling you up into the air. Well, what spell is that? I've never heard of that. It's not a player's handbook. No, only the Fae have it. Well, what level is it? It's the Fae. It's a Fae spell. You wouldn't understand. Well, how did they cast it? I didn't see him move his arms or wag his fingers or say anything. They just do it. They did it, right? And so the players won't fucking know what they're up against, which is, to me, a great thing, because they'll have no idea what they're going to face. They'll be worried and scared the whole fucking time they're playing. They won't know the capabilities of anything because they won't have a book to reference later. They won't be able to go back and try to gauge their effectiveness against something. There's 3 Fae, we better run, because I know if 3 Fae get in a group, they can cast certain level spells. No, you won't have that knowledge.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what the problem comes to that one, right? It comes. You need players that are going to have a lot of faith in their GM to treat them fairly and honestly, and not just fuck with them. So, one of the I'm going to be running probably at the end of the summer. I'm going to be kicking off a campaign with my original game group, my guys from high school and college, and they were like, "What are we going to do? Basic fantasy role play?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I realized that I like Swords and Wizardry, but I wanted it more than regular vanilla Swords and Wizardry, because it's going to be something that's going to be once a month. It's going to be probably more episodic. So you need stuff that's going to be a lot of flash and a lot of excitement. So we're going to be running crypts and things, which is swords and sorcery. Yeah. Now, the magic is divided up into 3 types of magic: white, gray, and black.
Yeah.
And no clerics.
Yeah.
And different types of spellcast. But if you cast black magic is like casting spells in Call of Cthulhu. It corrupts your soul.
Yes,
by definition.
Yep.
And and good magic can gain attention from those that you don't want to get attention from.
Yeah.
Things like healing spells, they're out there, but they're spells that you would cast inside your tent, not necessarily on the field of battle, because on the field of battle, all of a sudden now you are the target.
Yeah.
So it becomes a different way of balancing it out. Like I said, I like your idea, but you're going to need to have strong DMs because the potential for abuse is huge.
Like Mike said there, also wait for the DM to force an outcome. Absolutely, that's the thing. It's like, I don't want that to happen, therefore I'm going to cast the ultimate spell that they can't get out of, And so, that's you run the risk. So there has to be a lot of player trust, a lot of DM trust, and the DM has to be able to roll with it and not fuck them over, even unintentionally, right? You need to be able to have if I were to do such a thing, I'd be so OCD about my systems and rules anyway. You say I do my house rules, for fuck's sake, that I would have to have it detailed out. Like, I wouldn't even necessarily have to have a spell and a spell format and how many spells a day they can cast and what it costs and blah blah blah. Is it spell points based or is it memorization based? I probably wouldn't have that, but I would have the relative level of what first level phase spells can do. Here's 15 different types of things first level phase spells can do.
David, it's probably me running my fan. Not my fan, my AC. My AC.
Yeah.
It's my AC. And listen, if you want to see me turn into a puddle, I could do so, but live with it for the summertime.
It's you have to have that trust, I think. But like I said, I'd have to have a system in place so that I would be able to go back and say, you know what, he was right. That was probably too powerful for what they thought they were facing because blah blah, right? So I'd have to develop a rune magic based system, a song-based system, a Fey-based system, and all these other systems, at least so that I had a rough idea of the relative levels. Low-level guys can do these sorts of things, mid-level guys can do these sorts of things, and high-level guys these sorts of things, right? But to the characters, at least they wouldn't see that. I'd have it on paper. I'd have my rough idea. They wouldn't see it. It still gives them a sense that they're never going to know what they're facing. They're never going to walk in and say, oh, he probably is a 7-level wizard like me, so I know he can do up to these things, but certainly not those things. No, I see what he's doing. He's pulled out the whatever spell component. I know what's coming now.
Right.
You don't have that, and so it's not predictable. Everything is more dangerous.
Wow,
everything is more dangerous.
Wait a second. So you actually advocate for a magic system that is unpredictable?
Yeah. Oh, a magic system that, as a DM, is unpredictable. As a player, I wouldn't like to play that as a player at all, unless I had a good DM.
I was like, this sounds like DCC RPG all over again.
Yeah. As a player, I want to know that. See, as a player, the difference there though is, as a player, I want to know what my spells are going to do, right? And so if I know that my magic missiles are going to zip around and shoot me up the ass, that's fine. I don't want a spell failure chance. I don't want random wild magic stuff. But I'm okay with facing a world with a lot of different magical unknowns as long as I trust the DM. Like Tim Shorts, any day, any fucking day. He makes up stuff like that anyway. You know what I mean? So
sure.
He's always rolling with that kind of thing. And so there's certain DMs I would trust. Rob Connolly. Certain DMs I wouldn't trust with that sort of things. I don't think they have the ability to roll with it, but I think that it could work as long as you got the right group playing. Yeah, Joe, the player, would never play as me as a DM. Probably not, because I demand a lot of work of the players too. I put a lot of work on them, So yeah. I never said I would.
Mike, that's funny, man. You're making me smile. It made me smile. I said I was getting all worked up before about Canon.
You were getting passionate there, man. That was good. Yeah. Homework. I give him a lot of homework. He's pissed.
You see, like I'll give my players homework if we're using XP in the game, like with Regular Swords and Wizardry. But my homework was always, hey, do a write-up on your blog or on Facebook or email it to me, and I'll put it up. and you'll get a 10% XP bonus. Because that, to me, was my way of not having me to take notes when I'm improving. It's a way to get at least multiple players to give feedback as to how the session was run. And then and as a DM's tool, something like that, getting those written feedbacks, those written recaps from your players, means that if everybody pings on the same little thing that was a throwaway piece to you, but they all ping on it and they all mention it, then you're like, oh, well, I guess that throwaway candlestick maker maybe isn't a throwaway character after all.
They don't like
players. So there you go.
Yeah, fucking homework. Yeah, it's true. But I tell you what, he can't deny that I do more game prep than 5 times the homework I give out. So I'll spend all day Saturday. I'll spend 10 hours prepping on Saturday. I'm sitting here in underwear, just in a happy place, and then we play for 4 hours, and I go to bed exhausted. But it was an entire D&D day, and you really can't get much better than waking up, doing D&D prep, playing D&D, going to bed. Maybe eat some pizza and take a shit in the middle. That's all. That's a perfect fucking Saturday right there.
Yeah.
Especially when you got air conditioning. So we're all good. Yeah. You have to do a lot of homework and there's a lot of math in terms of you're running this, you're running that, giving your income, your expenses, all this stuff. It's like I do nitty gritty, I love the nitty gritty.
I don't like the math aspect of gaming. That's why Swords of Wizardry Light did away with math. It's pretty much like, experience points. Fuck it. Who needs experience points? Just starting funds? Fuck it. We'll just give you equipment.
No, I like the in-between math. Not the gaming math, but the stuff that happens in between the game. You got this vineyard. Okay, how many acres? What does it cost to buy barrels? How about bottles? What is the cost of bottles? How much are you going to make per yield in the medieval times based on how many acres of grapes you planted? Let me do some research on the medieval grape business. And I got all this stuff, and I'm building it into this whole system of, all right, here's how much you make based on all that. Here's how much you're paying your employees. How many employees you need per acre? Oh, my God, it's insane. But I love it. Yeah, he does. He has huge Excel spreadsheets that calculates all the Wizards' investments in businesses. He has to bring in his Excel spreadsheet thing from running a business into D&D just to fucking keep track of what I'm throwing at him.
Nice.
Prepping over prep for the win, yeah. I tell you, I've always over prepped in terms of like, oh man, I don't have enough ready. God damn it, I'm gonna have to wing it when we get into this within a half an hour. And sure as shit, they don't get like 1/3 into what I made up. But I'm sitting there sweating my ass off, worrying that I'm not gonna have enough planned and ready to go.
David, I've done the show up at a game session where I didn't realize I was running the game and be told, dude, can you run like Swords of Wizardry Light? Because I don't feel like running the game. I need a break. Like, yeah, sure. Everybody take a smoke break or a bathroom break. Give me 10 minutes and I'll have something ready to go.
Yeah.
Which is why I always travel to a game session with Inkwell Designs. They got certain decks, and I have like like one page. They're like a playing card side, but they have a deck which is like little dungeon encounter areas, like mini tombs or whatever. And I just randomly pulled out 2, read them both, said which one speaks to me. This one speaks to me.
There you go.
And there I go, and I can riff off that. I like the improv.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I work better with that time challenge of don't overthink it. You give me a full day, I could spend 8 out of 9 hours going what to do. Where you give me 15 minutes, I'll spend 14 minutes writing it up and 1 minute in panic mode, but then get past that pretty quickly.
Improv works well with a game convention, I think, because the players don't know who you are, what you got, what's going on. They know nothing about what's coming. And so you can really pull it off well. You really can.
Well, when it comes to a game convention, I like to have something prepped, but have it fairly loose, because if the players go, like a regular campaign, if the players go north and the big baddies to the south, they can spend all the time they want north, clear everything out, and then they come back. If it takes 2 sessions, you don't care.
Yeah.
But when you're playing at a game convention, you've got a 3 or 4 hour block, and you're half an hour away from the moment, and it's like, oh shit, they still have half this. They didn't get anywhere near it. You have to actually
speed it up.
Well, I'd rather just move shit around.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this room that was down here is now going to be up here, oh yeah, there's a door. There's no door on my original map, but on the map here that they don't know about, now there's a door leading to the big baddie, because you have to make it to that climax. It's a different way to run games as a convention or a one shot than it is to run as for a regular gaming group. You go, even if it's just once a month, you know your players are coming back. You know you're gonna, you like to end on a stressful note sometimes for the tension, but you don't want them to miss good stuff, man, at a convention.
Dude, I just pulled out to the conventions, my cards. I have Uber. It looks like I did level up. I must have leveled up after last game.
I think you did,
Uber the cleric. His name is Uber. I must have taken an Uber recently, and the first thing that popped into my head. He's level 2 human. Level 2 human. Hammer and chainmail. Armor class, right? The 4 out of 15 looks like, and I'm trying to read my own fucking shit handwriting. He has a wand of magic missiles, and it looks like the trigger word is bang, with 2 charges left. He has a bowl of chicken soup, apparently. It looked like I wrote down what the fuck that's all about. And he has a lucky ring that gives him +2 hit points. He got a little gold, a little silver, and a 1 magical invisibility shield. Magic invisible shield. That's right. It was magic, no weight, but it didn't. I don't think he gave a magic bonus, but just invisible.
No, it doesn't. Just invisible.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like you're carrying it, or your arm might be in a weird. Yeah. Why do you? I got a stiff arm. I have to hold it in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm practicing. I'm practicing my drinking position to keep my a mug in my hand.
Yeah. No, this is good. All right. I'm good to go, man. My dry sheet is here. Life is good. He's a cleric, and I got a couple spells. Yeah, we'll be whooping some ass, man. 7 hit points +2, so equals 9.
Damn.
Roll like shit, I guess.
Yeah, he must have rolled like shit. He must have rolled like a 1 at second level. But hey, all right.
What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Yeah, we're good. Uber is ready to go. Ready to answer the call to do that. I won't watch your video where you design the Avengers. I don't know what's coming. You can watch it, man.
I
won't do it.
It doesn't tell you anything. I haven't... listen, you got a map where I kind of go, maybe this is where the big bad guy might be, but maybe not. I mean, how I actually set it up for the convention and how I might set this up if I'm going to publish it as part of pub crawls, those 4-page one-sheet dungeons, might play out differently, although it might be similar theme, and but the rooms might get switched around. So I wouldn't worry. Watch the video. You can see me going through a book going, what kind of holes? I don't think so. We got to change this. I go, okay, this works.
The book is good for game prep. Besides the ones you mentioned, is Raji put out the thing about monster creation, esoteric monster, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, it was published by Goodman Games back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was pretty good. I got a copy of it here. I had a print copy. Actually, I found somewhere, and it was decent. What's going on with him? Anything?
I have heard. Actually, no. There is a James Raggy Lamentations bundle. I get everything in PDF.
Huh.
You can snag everything in PDF on drive-thru for less than $100 or about $100.
Like every single PDF there is.
Every single
ever had of every product.
Of every product, including the prior ref book, not the ref book that we don't have because we will probably never see it.
9 years later.
But Dave Thompson, 9 hit points, luxury. In my day, we had 1 hit point between the whole party, and we were grateful. Well, you were great when you were full at 1 hit point. When you had no hit point, you weren't so great.
Yeah. Speaking of hit points, that's the biggest change. All DMs of all stripes, I think, even the newbies who don't know any better, are really learning that this 3 triple save thing, the death save thing in 5e's got to go. I think that even they recognize it needs to be a little bit more dangerous when they're playing. The characters never die, and it's just there's certain things that I think people can universally agree on. You can't Care Bear something that much and make it fun if you know you're never going to die. And I think the balance between the monsters and the players, it breaks down. I mean, at 5th level, you can kill 80% of the fucking monster manual. A group of 5th level characters, it doesn't make any sense either. It's just that they don't scale well. The monsters don't scale well.
When there's no challenge, then there's really no reward. You get the reward. There's no value to the reward. You know,
yeah, you got to feel like you earned something. Those are the memories you have that are the most. You know, when your paladin is the last man standing, it's demons are going to kill your friends, and you're just you roll 3 20s in a row and you kill with each 20. It's like yes, and that's the shit that stays, and also the shit that stays are the failures because of dice rolls, man. Rob, I'm calling you out. Sorry, man. We were playing a game. Tim was running a couple of weeks ago, and Rob kept shooting his crossbow. He's an assassin. And 2 natural ones in a row, and then he rolled a miss, but it wasn't a 1. Then he rolled 2 more natural ones in a row. I've never seen 4 natural ones out of 5 rolls in a row ever in my life. That was the worst rolling.
Not even Tim.
Tim. I don't remember Tim doing that bad, man. Do you? Because Tim was saying, I think I did bad on a Friday night with Joe and Eric one night, but I don't remember.
I don't think he had them all consecutive. I just think that he was getting like every other roll was a 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does roll bad. That's insane. Except when he's rolling against us, then he's that's a whole different story. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh, that's the DM has the option of having a monster knock someone on the ground, but monsters over CR9 are they are. They're preposterously they are weak. And the healing mechanics make it feel like a video game. The other thing, when a character is knocked down, he's out, he's down, right? He's got 1 death save, it brings him down. What could happen is somebody casts a healing word on him. He, on the very next round, goes from comatose to I'm going to stand up, not trigger any attack of opportunity, and I'm going to hit this motherfucker. So he goes from coma to standing and swinging in a matter of a couple seconds. How is that in any way real?
Well, it reinforces video games. And as David Thompson says, next Wizards of the Coast book will introduce save points. Oh, come on, man. Yeah. But you only get 1 save point until you hit 10th level, then you get 2.
I like the system that says basically you go to negative hit points as far as whatever level you are, right? And so if you're 3rd level, you get down to negative 3 hit points. But if the hit that takes you, if you got 2 hit points left and you get hit for 5, guess what? You're dead. Right. That's it. You're out. You're at it again. You're done, right? So that's the way it should be. You don't go to 0 no matter what the hit is, and then you start clicking away hit points. You could be dead in the 1 kill or not. But I kind of think that's a happy medium because nobody likes their character to die. You put a lot of time into it. Nobody wants that to happen. Even if it's a little bit of time, you're still putting time into it. You got a little mental investment here, Yeah. House rule: when healed from the death save land, that's what we call it in our game. You're in death save land. The first round, you should only be able to do a dodge action. I think the first round, you should only be able to just lay on the ground, open your eyes, say, "Oh, that's it. That's your whole fucking action." You came out of a coma.
Yeah, you maybe you're kneeling. You know.
Yeah. Ready for the chop your head off like the Kurgan did to Ramirez. That's about the only thing you can do is kneel in that position in the Ramirez bitch pose when Kurgan chops his head off. That's it. If you don't know that reference, you're watching the wrong fucking show, boys and girls.
I don't know that reference, but maybe I will if you explain it.
Oh, the Highlander, the Kurgan. Remember the Kurgan?
Oh, I never watched the TV.
No, this was the movie, the first original movie.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in like 20 years, man.
I know. It's worth watching again, man. It holds up decently well. It's 80s, yada yada, but it does hold up decently well, Any hit on the character, 0 kills them. DM, you just be reluctant to administer it. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like I want to give the players a little bit more than death at 0. That's why I go to negative hit points. Bree says uses the same. He or she, I'm not sure. Sorry, uses the same system Joe mentioned. 1 recovery action. See, then you start getting into multiple actions. Though you remember the action hell of third edition 3.5 and Pathfinder 1. You remember how many different things you could do? I mean, holy Christ, that was a disaster. So I think there might be a case to be made, though, for more attacks of opportunity triggers, right? That might be, I think you could have a case made for that. Like if somebody comes back from death save land and they open their eyes and they start to move, instant attack of opportunity on them, which brings them back down to if they try to stand up and move or get out of the way.
Just lay down and play dead.
Yeah, I'm going to play dead, so he thinks I'm dead, which is what a normal guy would do. Because if you're standing over a guy that you think you just knocked out, and your next, the next area of combat comes up, the next round or whatever, next tick comes around, and that guy starts moving, the normal thing you're going to do is, fuck, you're not dead yet, and then boom, another hit to the head. That's what you're going to do. But if the guy's playing possum, you're not going to do it. You think, all right, I got this son of a bitch, now move on to the next guy. Right? And so that's, I think, what the only thing to do. And that, and you take away healing word, because fuck healing word. That's one of the things I mentioned that you should get rid of, 1 round, it's only action for the first round after the heal. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that can be done with it, but I'm optimistic that they have enough fucking sense over there for somebody to come out with a 50th edition book of D&D. What would that be, though? Because that's coming up in 2024, right? What would that look like? What would a 50th edition? The 50th edition of what? Original D&D? Or 5e all souped up with a new 5e revised? Because it's a copy-paste job? Or just a reprint in nice leather-bound books?
Well, wasn't the 40th anniversary the wooden box?
I think it was. Yeah, I missed out on that. I was broke then.
Oh, I had two.
Nice. You know what I got from Tavis Allison? He gave me a hookup. He said somebody he knew, I don't know who, basically did something with, this is, I don't know, 10, 12 years on, it's probably not even up now. Something he knew did something with the original D&D books, right? And they put it up on Lulu. But the cost to buy them was at cost. So the guy wasn't making any money. So if you wanted a Lulu printed softcover edition of the old D&D books, all of them, plus the chainmail and the Swords of Sorcerers or Wizard thing, you could get that off of Lulu back then. That's the only copy I have in print is that one that I got from Lulu a million years ago. You know, so, yeah. So that was a good deal. I never ended up, otherwise I had nothing. Otherwise that's it. Yeah. But I don't know. What do you think it'll be? Do you think they're going to do something for the 50th anniversary? And if so, what? Great opportunity. You got to admit, it's a great opportunity.
Again, they already did the. Excuse me. They already did the reprints. The faux leather golden gilded reprints for AD&D.
Yep.
They
can't go back to AD&D again. They can't print racial animosity in a book again ever. They're never going to print AD&D books as written again. They can't praise all these, this race hates this race just because of that race. That'll never get printed again.
Well, no, they're all print on demand. You can get them all right now, print on demand. But yeah, they're never going to put them mass market again.
Yep.
You're right. Put them out there.
So it won't be that. It won't be OD&D. Second edition was a whole lot of meh. They don't want to go back to third. Fourth was a fucking disaster. It'll have to be a fifth edition book, I think, of some type. But a revised one or the current?
I think again. I think they're going to do a soft reboot. The new edition is going to be actually compatible with the current edition. So you're not going to be. It's still D&D. Yeah. You don't need to buy the new one. We hope you do, but you don't need to buy it. Everything you own is fully compatible. But they're going to change some phrasing. They're going to change basic assumptions. The mechanics are not going to change. They might clarify a few things, but I don't see them changing mechanics for a game that is by far the number one game in the marketplace. Yeah. And it's selling like hotcakes still.
Cosmetic changes, not mechanical changes. Do you think they'll bring in some of the play-tested shit from other books? Or you think they'll just pretty much leave it the same except for wording changes as it is right now?
I suspect they're going to pretty much mostly keep it. Again, they're going to no more racial negative modifiers, and they're going to change some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing that's going to change the way prior adventures interact with the rules. If you have an adventure bought before the I don't know what you want to call it.
I don't even know what to call it.
The reawakening of D&D, or the rebranding. Well, it won't be rebranding. Again, they're not going to. They don't want to have the risk of losing customers. You're not going to gain customers by rebooting, but you can make a lot of sales by putting out a new printing, new cover art, new layout.
That's true.
That's true. It's like with a foreword from I don't know.
Some famous asshole,
yeah. Vin forward by Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
When I'm not making a movie for millions of dollars, I'm playing D&D in my basement with my original group.
I got to call him out on that because this is only going by what Joe Manganiello said in an interview with Stephen Colbert. You guys have all probably seen it. But Colbert's like, first of all, Manganiello's like, I got the biggest game in Hollywood. All the guys who play D&D in Hollywood basically play at my table. If you're playing it, you're with me. And so Colbert's something like, you got Vin Diesel. He goes, here's the thing. He says he plays D&D, but nobody I know plays with him, and I play with everybody. So he might just be saying, saying it. He's basically calling Vin Diesel full of shit if he's saying he's a current player. He never sees him anywhere. So I don't know. Maybe Vin Diesel is. Maybe Vin Diesel isn't. Manganiello definitely is front and center. The guy, and Manganiello is a massive. This goes back to what we said earlier. Massive Dragonlance fan. He actually plays a Dragonborn, which harkens back to the Dragonlance stuff in his main game and this and that. And he had that famous thing on Critical Role, yada yada. But he loves Dragonlance. He says Dragonlance basically is the only real story you got for D&D. Why don't they make the fucking movie? And so I think he's trying to worm his way into that whole thing. He's going to try to get a better deal and get it.
Oh,
you know,
sure, yeah.
I think that'd be a great. He knows how to tell a story in the old school style. This guy. So if he's involved as a producer, writer, editor, whatever, you're going to have a decent movie. I think as long as they don't get all stupid on us, you know, it should be a good movie. It should be. Yeah, I hope it happens. And if it's in conjunction with the new setting release, boom.
Right, and they can do product placement for Nescafe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for his wife.
Nescafe for what?
Nescafe, right? The Nescafe, with the pod coffee maker for espresso. Yeah. The one his wife is always hawking or was always
really?
hawking on TV.
I barely watch regular TV.
Dude, I haven't turned on my cable box in months. It's all like, hon, I'll be watching YouTube, HBO on demand, Amazon on demand, Netflix on demand, Disney on demand. What are we? A&E? We don't watch A&E anymore, so it's like
I got Disney, I got Netflix, and I have Prime. I tell you what, Prime is my main go-to next Disney, and then Netflix I never watch. I'm thinking about canceling again. Netflix got shit. Netflix is the place you go when the new season of Stranger Things comes out, and while you're there for that month, you'll watch whatever looks interesting that you missed in the last 12 months. To me, that's what Netflix is. They got shit right now, you know. They got shit. Kevin R. Smith, I think that's not the same Kevin Smith we've been slamming this whole time.
not unless he's gone gray like us.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Tasha's was probably the trial balloon for 5.5, but unlike 3.5, which changed a lot of things, especially the Ranger class.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't see the changes being that dramatic.
No.
But they're going to be stealthier. And I think some people are going to complain that they've Care Bear the game even more.
All of us.
Changes. Yeah,
all of us.
Well, and
everybody over 42.
Somebody prior was saying, I don't understand how 5e sells more than the OSR. Oh, that is easy. 5e has Hasbro behind it. It has Hasbro's marketing reach. It has Hasbro's reach into the hobby market. Hasbro's reach into game stores and bookstores and Amazon. The OSR is not one single entity. It is so many independent entities under one general banner that you don't have that penetration, that reach. But the OSR can have influence. The OSR had some influence on 5e.
Yeah.
Even though they had to scrape the names out later. But people like Joe Block, the Greyhawk Rognard, Zach Smith, the pundit, they all had some input. They were all, how much input? Enough that they were, their opinions were asked for and then probably mostly ignored. But, at least there was some input from the OSR world in that.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Matt's saying, I think the PH2 and this and that. If they're going to go the route of PH2, MM2, and DM2, that's a whole different story. I would much rather see it all in one book. Honestly, I would rather have a thicker book. I'd rather have all the characters. And this is my OCD talking here, but I want all the monsters in one book. I want all the characters in one book. I want all the spells in one book.
But here's the thing. Because, like you said before, some players are not going to want this. So now you're going to have, player handbook and player handbook complete? And DM's guide and DM guide complete? I mean, how do you market that?
No.
Again, you don't have... We're going to have Dungeons & Dragons and Dungeons & Dragons Advanced. You don't want to split the market. But you can make these as optional books. Your OCD will have to go fuck itself. But, I mean, that's just the way it would probably be. I can't see them putting them into bigger, better books and keeping the original books on the market. And I don't see bigger books being more profitable for them. They've found a sweet point. Yeah. You can go on to Amazon and on a normal day get all 3 books for less than $100.
Yeah, it's true. Here's the other question, though. What is the smart thing to do and what is the thing they'll actually do? So, you're betting on a smart thing. They ain't always the case.
No, but I think that Wizards of the Coast has been doing the smart thing business-wise overall.
Yeah.
Now, listen, Mike and I have officially named the second half of every Wednesday's episode as This Week in Gaming Stupid. And it used to be we would just talk about like.
You're talking about my brother Mike. I'm like, when did you guys talk about this?
No, but we used to always just do like, oh, what did Wizards of the Coast do this week? But they're not. They haven't been as stupid recently as others have been, and we weren't going to do This Week in TSR because TSR is quieted down, thankfully. So, and there's enough stupidity in gaming that we have enough stuff to talk about.
Yeah, so. I agree. Let's see, we got both editions of Pathfinder use a single core book. I thought that was a mistake on their part as well. Why do you want to give the monsters away to the? I just don't understand. Why would you? Well, don't give away the secrets. I know the monster might have a separate. That's right, but don't give away the secrets. So the DM stuff and the DM. Just come on, man. Some DMs might want to keep it separate. Plus, it's cheaper for your new players. Why have every new player pay $50 or $60 when they can pay $20 or $30 because the book's half that size? That doesn't talk about stupid marketing decisions. That doesn't make any fucking sense. At least have three for fuck's sake.
Or two. You can just a player
DM combo monster. Yeah, DM monster and then a players. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. But keep a separation. Make it easier for people to buy. Magic the Gathering. Never underestimate Wizards of the Coast's ability to screw the pooch. Yeah, from what I've never played, from what I understand from people who do, they're constantly like breaking their own.
Yeah. This card's unbalanced now. Some player figured out how to take advantage of. Oh God, what were those early cards that I know I made money off one of them?
Alpha, Beta, yeah.
And one of the Beta card would one of them they got. Some of the cards that I sold were like banned like 2 or 3 years later from tournament plays.
Wow.
Because if you put the card in play, you basically just like, all right, it's like, there you go, asshole. Walk away.
Yeah.
It's just like, I never actually learned how to play it. So.
Here's the thing. Do you wonder, you look at all the second edition era books and there was way more fluff than crunch. You look at third edition books, there was way more crunch than fluff, right? Okay. But I think the second edition fluff was way more, the product of truly, really gifted, creative people a lot of the time. They had people writing for it.
Oh, wait.
Mystera has well done.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the complete player handbooks.
No, I'm talking about the setting stuff. The fluff.
Oh, okay.
All the fluff books, all the stuff like that goes to setting.
And I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
No. So I think right now, Wizards is not even focusing on fluff versus crunch. All they're doing is here's your book, here's your core books, and here are adventure paths in one book. That's all they're giving you, right? And so it's like they're giving you one book / adventure path, 1 or 2 a year, whatever they're doing. Now that's sometimes they do the newer setting books that are coming out, but I wonder if there's ever a market anymore for going into detail like Mystera did, right? You had the core box book, and then you had a dozen different books breaking out all the different areas of the land, all the different regions and stuff like that. Like the Wilderlands books did the same thing back there for. Or Wilderlands, however you say it, back in the day. And they broke out a lot of detail. Second edition in general did a lot of setting books and breaking out detail for all these different setting books and different styles.
But that was the downfall of TSR. They lost money in almost every box set they sold.
They did, but then they kept publishing more books to flesh out the areas. And I'm like, I know they were fucking up with money.
And that's just it. They were selling so many settings that they were
cannibalizing their own market.
Cannibalizing their own market, but not only that, they were selling box sets at a loss.
Oh,
and and not because they expected to sell at a loss, but because they would grow larger than they should be in the process, and it was just a horrible process.
Gotcha.
So look what happened. They wound up, literally hitting that bankruptcy wall and getting bought out by Wizards of the Coast.
Well, I guess this goes to the thrust of my question. Within all that mess of crap they put out, there's some real true gems and some really creative people came out of it. Do you think there would be a market for great fluff? Not great fluffers, great fluff.
I always want a great fluffer.
Do you think there'd be a market for good, high quality fluff that expands just there's not a stat or a stat block or anything else in there. It's just all pure fluff, like some of the Mystera shit, right? And number two, part two of this question is, would there be a market? Part two is, do they have the ability to do it? In other words, are there enough new creative people in there, and even more importantly, an editor in charge of the whole project, so that it would come out as a good product? Do they have anybody who has somebody to do such good fluff?
Wizards of the Coast does not have anybody like that. However, part of the idea of DM's Guild is that they'll have you, me, Joe Schmo writing that stuff, and they get a cut of everything that is written, and they don't have to edit it. They don't have to approve it.
Yep.
They don't have to do shit.
Yep.
But say, sell it on our little storefront there and give us 20%, or whatever you're giving up. You know,
but what's going to come out of that? Like this goes back to like the old studio system that the movie theaters used to have, right? Where they would develop talent, they would develop actors, they would develop their abilities because they had on staff like swordsman classes and how to ride a horse and how to ride a stagecoach and how to talk in French and how to have an accent that's Spanish. They have all these things that would develop not only actors but directors, and they would bring directors up from the bottom, from writing to directing to everything, and so they would develop the stables of people for all the different things within the studios that they would say, all right, I think Bill is ready for this and Mary's ready for that now. We developed them enough. They've proven themselves over time. They can handle this large project now. And Wizards, if they're going to keep doing this DM's Guild stuff and let anything be put out there, there's going to be a whole lot of shit. It's going to be hard to separate the wheat from the chaff. And even if you do find the wheat, how is that wheat going to grow better? How are you going to get more stuff out of that guy or that girl? Because, wow, that was really fucking good, and we want you to do more. We want you to come work for us. We've read this. We approve it. It's fantastic. There's new talent right there. But they're not looking for that. All they're wanting is the 5% or 50% or whatever the hell that they get off of these books. They're not looking to develop talent. And so they're going to hurt themselves in the long run, and gaming in the long run. Unless these people could develop on their own through luck or just lasting power, you know, there's nothing that's really... we're going to have a creative lag coming up in the next 10 years, I think, really.
Oh, here, again, Kevin...
No, there's no farm team. Dave, you just said in 3 words what the fuck I said in 500 right there. The farm team. They're not developing a farm team.
but they are, but they're not interested in it. Kevin Smith, apparently Ed Greenwood and Keith Baker, Eberron, are also releasing setting material through the DM's Guild. Not sure if they get special consideration or play by the same rules as others, but again, here's the thing. Wizards of the Coast doesn't have to do anything, and the material gets created and they get a cut. And if it's shitty, nobody buys it. And if it's good creators on the DM's Guild get their own following. They start becoming minor stars within it. Now, if Wizards of the Coast decides, hey, we need to reboot, I don't know, Greyhawk, and maybe they're going to go to the DM's Guild and say, hey, which of these authors are proven? Because we've seen what they get when they go with the unproven authors.
So it's like throwing them all into the mosh pit and see who walks out. Steel cage.
Pretty much.
They're not trying to develop shit. They're just taking advantage of who survives. It's very old school of a new school game company. Just saying.
Yes.
Very old school.
Because it doesn't matter if somebody succeeds or fails, they're making profit off the work anyway.
Yeah.
And not having to do any of the work to get that profit. And that, in and of itself, it is their method right now. For good or wrong, if you listen to Rob Conley, Rob will break down the evils of the DM's Guild. And basically the worst part of it is if you bring your content as a creator into the DM's Guild, you cannot bring it out again. It is in. It is, and then say Rob wanted to take Black Marsh and do a 5e version and publish it through the DM's Guild. He can never do Black Marsh outside the 5e Guild. He loses that right.
No shit.
Yep.
No shit.
Oh yeah, and Rob is anal enough to read into all these contracts.
Oh, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
So basically, if he publishes the Black Marsh on DM's Guild, he never publish it anywhere else, is what you're saying.
That is correct. And he can't write it for another system. He can't take it. You can't write something for the DM's Guild and then go, you know what? I'm gonna just take this out and take the setting material out, so it isn't even proprietary, and write it now for Pathfinder or Savage Worlds or Swords of Wizardry. You can't do it.
That's a load of shit, man.
It's locked in there.
Yeah, no, that's a true load of shit. That doesn't make any sense. How can they possibly justify? It's one thing if DM's Guild was just a 5e thing. If Rob is putting out shit based in a 5e setting, based in 5e rules,
but you could publish for them using first edition Forgotten Realms stuff. It's stuck there. You can't pull it out. As Kevin says, he's heard the only good reason to publish to the DM's Guild is if your project has to use Wizards of the Coast setting IP. That is correct. But some people publish on DM's Guild because it gives them a greater access or a greater focus from the 5e community. So they get a smaller cut of what they publish, but they theoretically get more sales. I don't know.
What if he started somewhere else and he went to DM's Guild? He can't publish anywhere else again?
That product is going to be... Yeah, you can't... You can publish other stuff out, but you can't publish a version of what you published on DM's Guild outside of the DM's Guild. Yes, Kevin, it's kind of like the game system license from 4E, which was... But you don't have to pay the $1,000 fee or whatever it was to play in their sandbox through their very restrictive rules.
What about Drive-Thru RPG? If you just publish on Drive-Thru, you don't have that problem, right?
You don't have that problem, but you can't use the IP
and find it. And they're out their IP. Yeah.
Right, right. So, I mean, listen, like I publish Swords and Wizardry material on Drive-Thru.
Yeah.
I have 2 issues of Torchlight, Premiere and #1. I have Swords and Wizardry Continual Light, and I have 2 Pay What You Want products out there. And I have my own fan base or community, so I know what my estimated sales would be in that first month.
Yeah.
But if I was on DM's Guild writing 5e stuff, you don't need to necessarily come in with that fan base.
Yeah.
And again, it's a more focused fan base. So, there's a give and take. But again, I in theory, get 65% of cover price. 35% goes to Drive-Thru. That's because I'm not exclusive. I can also publish through Amazon, Lulu,
gotcha.
Other sites. If you're exclusive, they only take 30%. So
it's worth the freedom. Pay a little more for freedom, man.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was like, I'm not gonna worry about that too much. But now for me, I don't make a lot of money off it. But what I do make, I'm happy that I can pay the creators that are, putting their time into it. For me, that's the reward. It's like, we had Northern issue 1. I paid 5 cents a word for the 2 articles. All right, so their first published work, it got them $57. I'm happy. No, come on. That's what, a dinner and a half maybe for one person at Outback.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's good, man. Then they're happy with it. They made some money. They published it. They got the name out there. It's not like a fly-by-night shit that's going to go away, so it'll be out there for a while, So that's really fucking good. That's good. Yeah. Somebody mentioned before Ed Greenwood publishing stuff, and it just remembered. I reminded myself here is that he published something I think on DM's Guild that I purchased, and it's about the Borderlands and the Forgotten Realms, and I gotta say I love it. It's really good. The players are gonna deal with it soon. It's like it was something that sort of flew by, under the radar, and I'm like, what is this? Downloaded it, bought it, downloaded it. Well, as I said, bought it first, downloaded it. Then I printed it up. And it was that good. I printed up and bound it, actually. So, again, I printed up the map in big, color and this and that. So, it's going to be a fun thing. So, yeah, there are some gems out there. But like I said, that's Ed Greenwood. Dude's got 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
well done.
He's been writing in that setting since before D&D was a thing.
Yeah.
To Rod, I mean, listen, Drive-Thru is the marketplace for RPG PDFs. No ifs, and or buts.
It's the only place
left. You know, there are other, but they're small.
Yeah.
They're inconsequential. When I don't know the actual numbers, but I would estimate that 85 to 90% of PDF sales probably happen through drive-through. So if you're going to put stuff out, that's where you're going to put it out, and then you got to play by their rules. Mm-hmm. They're not horrible. They're not awesome. It would be great if they had some competition, but anybody who's tried to beat competition hasn't been able to put up I don't even say an A game. They haven't been able to put up a C game. You got to come in with
all the bells and whistles that they took all 15 years to develop. They developed it over time. You can't start like this, you know.
You can't half-ass it if you're going to come out. And I've seen other companies half-ass it or just not be able to. Like your games now was like poor man's drive-through. They've been gone for years. RPG Now was bought out by drive-through, or they merged, or however that worked. And then of course RPG Now, bye. Was it Indie Games Revolution? I don't even know if they're still around. They probably
I don't remember that name at all. That's different to me.
Yeah, and then there's the the D20 SRD guys have their storefront, but that's pretty much 90% Pathfinder stuff. And Lulu, but it doesn't have the search function that you have for
old
drive-through.
School. Nothing. Yeah, you don't have this yet.
Frog God had intended to do something like this back in 2016.
They wanted a portal or something, all purpose.
It went. Listen, you can't do it under cheap. You can't do it for a couple $1,000. Yep. You got to be able to say to somebody, hey, I'm going to come into this with 6 figures, and now we're going to and lose money probably.
For
your first couple of years before you could even hope to get a significant amount of that market share. So and you'd have to offer stuff that drive-through doesn't, and you'd probably have to offer better rates to
better deals.
Those that are selling on your portal.
Especially at the beginning, you're going to need the better rates just to attract the people over. You're going to need better percentages, and long term, you're in a long-term battle against something that's been around as the only guy up there for 15 years. You have to break habits, right? So it's going to take sweetheart deals, breaking habits, a lot of investment. And when are they going to make that money back? They're going to make it back when Wizards of the Coast switches their DMs Guild over to that place.
Right,
that's when they'll make it back.
And that's not going to happen. So, Gerard, drive-through seems like the Amazon of RPGs. It is. Now, listen, right now, and probably for the next week and a half or so, there is the Christmas and July sale at drive-through. You can go there. You're going to save anywhere from like 15 to 30% on pretty much most stuff. Some companies opt out. I will put a link into the show notes, description notes of this when we wrap up. So if you're listening to this later and you want to help out the tavern, if you shop through my links, I get back 5%. It goes into the account. This is the account that I pay artists and writers for and lay out, and that's how I get to put out the products. Is I can sell a product at an initial. I don't have to make my money back if I'm selling something, putting together something in the first month, or first 6 months. I can make a small amount back maybe after a year because I can put money out. Because people use my affiliate links, and that money is money that allows me to be out of pocket. So if you want to support stuff that the tavern does, or the giveaways, when we hit 1,000, I'm giving away $500 in drive-through RPG monies on this channel. So there's a great way to.
That's coming up. We got one more viewer over the course of this. We started 926 to 927.
So when we hit 1,000. The following Wednesday after hitting 1,000, we're going to give away $500. Probably at 500, 250, 250, 150, 50, and 50.
All right.
So that's probably how we're going to do it.
It's
I think
nice.
that adds up the right way. Yeah.
It's nice.
That would give away like four prizes, and it's fun, and it's your money anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it is literally coming from you all.
It's like buying a lottery ticket, really. Every time you buy a book off Erik's site, you contribute a little bit to the fund. And if you come here and you enter the raffle, it's like buying a lottery ticket every time you buy something from the site.
Well, it's going to be interesting because this is going to be the first year in this December. I always do OSR Christmas. And now I'm going to have to figure out a way to get the YouTube channel involved in OSR Christmas.
Yeah.
Not just the blog.
We need a different background, definitely. We need tinsel and then mistletoe hanging from the ceiling in the background there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, God.
You got to soup it up. You got to have the crazy
Eddie hat. God. Oh, gee. Oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe.
Crazy Eddie style, man. Do a Crazy Eddie style. Get some refrigerators and stoves in the background there.
So, yeah, we always have
Crazy Eddie, guys.
we always have some great gifts donated by the OSR community.
Yeah.
It's always a good year, but that'll be in December. But before that, we'll be giving away $500 in gift certificates. Just hit 1,000, man. Just gotta hit 1,000. That's all, man.
When do you think it'll happen? Any predictions as to the day?
I'm going to say before the end of August. Beyond that, I don't know. And that's great because I was hoping before the end of the year.
I was thinking before ShireCon. I was thinking get it before ShireCon.
Now the other thing is too, when we hit 1,000, I'm also in to sponsor a room at North Texas RPG Con next June, and stock it with booze.
Nice.
So that is a twofer, especially if you're going to be going to North Texas. We will have a booze room where I'll probably have to give out I'll give out tavern cards that you can put on the back of your badge, and you just show your card as you walk into the room. Like, all right, you're good. You can come in and have a drink. It's good to make a speakeasy.
That's cool.
Yeah, make it cool.
I like it. Never better than to end on free beer. So I think it's a good timing here.
I think you're right. Folks, as always, we really, really appreciate all the live feedback. This is what makes these shows great.
Absolutely.
Indie Press Revolution still exists. All right, I was right. It was bought in 2017 by DOJ Incorporated, which also owns Hero Games. I had no idea. Interesting. An OSR Advent calendar, dice, or a mini encounter on every door. I know it can't be mass produced, but it would be fun.
That's kind of cool.
All right. I gotta make a note for myself about the OSR.
That's a really good idea, man.
Yeah, OSR Advent calendar. I do know some artists, and I know one or two that might be able to donate some work to this. So I'm gonna play with that idea.
And there's a lot you can do there. There's a lot you can do with that.
I like that idea. Thank you, Gerard.
Yeah.
Folks, again, this is why we love this. This is the live feedback. You feed us. This is awesome. Listen, Joe and I, neither one of us are medical professionals. We talk about this every time I do a show. We're in the midst of the world of COVID. Things have been looking better. I am not saying go out and get vaccinated. I am not giving medical advice. All I am saying is use your common sense. Talk to a medical professional whose advice you would trust, and get their advice. Ignore the talking heads. Get professional advice and take actions to keep yourself, your family, your friends, your loved ones healthy and safe. Be safe. Be well. God bless. Maybe even on OSR Christmas with an Advent calendar. Go figure that one out. Roll those dice. Roll them well. And I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. weather permitting. Rach and I are going to be doing Gamers Health from the backyard here in Queens, New York. We will do a little bit of a walkthrough of our garden. I picked a nice harvest of tomatoes today, some blueberries, some cucumbers, and some beans. So now I gotta make like a salad and stuff. And
all right.
Again, back tomorrow.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you very much. It was a good time, and as he said, all the input is helpful. We learned shit from you guys. So take it easy, guys.
You make us better. Seriously. All right, folks. Oh, remember, show notes. I'll put the drive-through link just in case you want to support the show. Laters.